There's a lot of times when you're filming with the phone and the footage is just way too shaky. And there's a certain sort of, yeah, that's shaky, see? But there's a certain type of, sort of cinematic feel that you want to give to these videos. And that's sort of what I find lacks with phones in general. And even like little GoPro cameras, right? You've got little, action cameras, GoPros, and there's who knows how many there are out there. But the problem is always that you always get that little sort of shake, and the footage never sort of looks cinematic. So to solve that issue, I bought myself a Zhiyun Q Smooth action sort of camera. Sorry, Ragav, I'm pushing you onto the pavement there. Just tell me to move out of the way. So I bought myself the Zhiyun Smooth Q Stabilizer. So basically what this is meant to do is stabilize the footage with your phone or with an action camera that you have. So all this will do is really stabilize the footage, but at the end of the day, we always know what king is, and king is the story itself. So what we want to do is we want to get our story right before we actually do any work with this. And I'll show you how this operates in just a second. What we're going to try and do is set this up. So the premise of this is that you hold it like a stick. I'll put this over here. So the premise is that you hold this like a stick, and your phone, and your phone is meant to sort of go there, and it's meant to stabilize your phone footage. There's a couple of dials on here that we can basically use. It's got a few different modes for operating, and hopefully I can sort of show you a little bit around this, this beautiful little product. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is your camera will point out to obviously where you're going to be filming. This thing has a tension belt on it, or tension springs I should say, and you can probably slide any phone in there, even up to let's say one of those really big iPhone 10s or Samsung Galaxy or whatever you have, but it probably works a little bit smoother if your phone's a little bit smaller. So you just make sure that the phone is nicely secure in there. So initially what will happen is it'll just droop down like it is at the moment, and what we want to try and do is level this out a little bit. So because this device has two motors, it's got one, it's actually, so it's got one here and one there that stabilizes the footage, and then it's got one in there as well that sort of controls where the camera's going to move. We want to try and make it as easy on the motors as we possibly can. The reason for that is that you don't want to burn the motors out. Well, if you do burn the motors out, that means that you'll be getting yourself a new gimbal pretty soon. And it is this easy to actually level it. So here we go. See, within about 2 seconds I managed to get it quite straight, which is good. And you just pretty much screw this together so that tensions it up a bit. And all we do is press the on button, which is also the record button. Now you can get the camera app, which means that you can connect your gimbal to your phone, and when you press the record button it will automatically start recording. I don't have that connected at the moment, but we'll just use the gimbal as is without connecting it to the phone. Obviously the phone is in there, but you know what I mean, right? So we'll turn that on. Boom! See how it just sort of went back to life. What we'll do is I'll just quickly go into my camera app. It's on an iPhone 10, guys. It takes forever to load up. My God, please. A bit of webcam there as well. Okay, so as you can see that I can actually move this around as much as I can, or as much as I want to, but the camera is quite steady, and that's the whole point of this particular gimbal, is that you can then go and do things like pan up and down, and you've got like a little joystick that you can do that with. You can go pan down. See how nice and smooth this footage is? So you can sort of see on the camera there. You can't see any shake in there, although if you were to move, and I'll show you some sample footage of this, you can see how nice and smooth it is. So I just want to mention a couple of things that this actually came with. So I paid $100+, I don't even remember, it was close to $200 bucks, right? that I paid for this. It may go up and down in price, so check the link below. So what this actually came with was pretty simple. It came with the case, which is absolutely fantastic. What you want the case to do is basically protect this delicate thing, and it does it really well, and it packs really nicely, and you can actually shove it in your bag, and it'll just sort of live there. And the other thing that it came with, obviously the gimbal itself and the cable to charge it. So all those three things are included when you do purchase the gimbal. Obviously the phone is not included, but any phone can sort of be put in there to record. And if you've got a GoPro or something along those lines, you can also use that with this gimbal as well. For the GoPro and those little cameras, you will actually get like a little plate. So what you'll do, you'll actually get a little plate that looks like a phone, and it's got a little hole inside it where you can actually put your GoPro, and that's how you'll use the GoPro with this gimbal. Probably the three, I would say, top features that I really like about this particular gimbal is, one, it has face tracking. So when you install the app on the gimbal itself, on the phone itself for the gimbal, I can put this somewhere or pretty much anywhere in the corner, and when I move around it will actually track me. So it will move around as I move around. So if I'm at the back recording my gardening videos, and if I'm moving around the garden, as I'm moving around it will track my face, to track me as I'm walking around. Combine this with the wireless microphone that I reviewed a couple of days ago, will mean that I can basically use this as a sole recording method for most of my gardening videos. You can actually use this for most of your videos that you make at home. The second thing that I really love about this is the smooth and professional footage that it actually provides. Minus obviously the phone is not going to give you crystal clear, although it's becoming very, very good. It's very competitive, the footage that comes out of your phone versus, say, some really expensive cameras. But the smooth footage that you get from this is really, really professional, and it makes it a lot easier to integrate in a lot of your stuff that you're doing, and it just looks a lot better. The third thing that I absolutely love about this, that it is so small. Previously, we used to lug around. I remember buying like a handy cam of sorts, and you would bring cables, you would bring all these types of things along with you when you're actually carrying that around. But now I can have this, and this will basically last me for about 12 hours. The battery on this lasts me for 12 hours straight. So for me personally, I don't record 12 hours all at once. I will record maybe an hour, two, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever I'm recording, because I try to be very intentional when I'm recording stuff, right? So you'll have this for a long period of time. Basically, if you're recording every day, you might even have it for the whole week. So those are my top three features or top three uses for this particular gimbal. Okay, another couple of features that one of them that I really like, and the other one, that was a big fly. And the other one that I don't necessarily like, one is the battery itself is baked into this thing. So you can't just sort of like take the battery out, go charge it, and buy yourself a new battery. I predict that it will probably last for about 2-3 years at the bare minimum. When you look at, they say recharging, you can recharge your battery about 2,000 times these days. So it'll last you for a long time if you're not recharging it every day. Secondly, the feature that I probably love the most is at the back of it here, you've got a USB port, right? So the phone battery is going to die way before the gimbal dies itself. So what you can do while you are recording, or even while you're not recording, is you can plug your charger into here and plug it into your phone, and that will actually charge your phone at the same time. And I think that's a great little advantage, especially if you're going to be taking this camping, if you're going to be taking it to remote areas, if you're going to be taking it on trips where you don't necessarily have a power bank right next to you. And I think this can actually charge your phone maybe a couple of times as well. You don't want to be using it solely for charging your phone, because obviously then you're not going to have the facility to use the gimbal itself. The best way to use this is to actually bend your knees a little bit. So when you are using it, there is a little bit of a technique to use it, because every time you walk, it will create that sort of wavy look to your videos. But if you bend your knees and you're trying to keep yourself quite level at the same time as using this, that's when you'll get basically the best results that you possibly can get. So what I'll do is after this video, I'll show you guys, I think a 2-minute sample video, basically just you can call that a little movie that I made solely with this, just so you can see, I suppose, the workings of it, how to use it, and so forth. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube on exactly how to use all of these functions, so I'm not going to go through the functions in great detail, but I think it's worthwhile checking out if you do buy one of these, which I'll have links provided below. So if you do buy it, a little bit of the commission goes to me, and that helps me make these types of videos. So it helps me buy the gadgets that we are looking at today. I didn't buy this one to review. I actually bought this one because I wanted to use it for my gardening videos, and it just happened to be really good, and I really enjoy it. It's one of the best things that I bought for my video production, and hence I'm showing it to you guys. Guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you have, thank you very much for subscribing. If you don't like it, put the thumbs down, but tell me in the comments why, and I'll see you in the next video. Please stay tuned for the 2-minute movie that I made with this particular device. All right, see you guys, bye.